Zion and Sam. How it started versus how it went. Zion did not start out as a bad girl. If you saw her in SS2, you would simply say, "This one has sense." She always sat in the front row. She was focused, serious about her studies. She constantly talked about becoming a doctor and relocating to the UK for her master's degree. She even told her friends she wanted to remain a virgin until marriage. She said she didn't want to meet any unserious boy who would distract her from her dreams. It wasn't because she didn't have feelings. It wasn't because boys didn't approach her. It was because she believed her body and her future were not things to gamble with. Sam, too, was not a wicked. He had big dreams. He wanted to study engineering, build a house for his mother, and buy a car before he turned 30. But Sam had one major influence: his friends. In their circle, respect was not about grades. It was about girls. "How many girls have you slept with?" "Guy, you're dull." Even when Sam said nothing, the pressure was loud. 2 different teenagers, same secondary school, same problem, pressure mounting on both sides. Zion's story, Zion's downfall, did not begin with rebellion. It began with comparison. Her friends started dating. Every break time was filled with relationship updates. Who bought shawarma? Who sent money? Who took them to the beach? Who went to fancy restaurants with their so-called sugar daddies? And which girl on their street was jealous? Zion laughed along, but deep down she asked herself, am I too rigid? Am I not beautiful enough? Why am I not experiencing these things too? Then she met Michael, a handsome, smooth talker, the kind of boy who could stay on the phone until midnight just to make you feel special. For the first time, Zion felt sane, not just for her intelligence, but as a girl, a beautiful girl. She felt chosen. She felt lucky. She told herself it wasn't serious, just vibes. But she didn't realize that vibes come in stages. First, she started hiding chats from her parents. Then she began coming home late. Then the behavior she once swore she would never tolerate. She began tolerating. She became the understanding girlfriend. Michael was not serious. He chased different girls of different shapes and sizes. He flirted openly. When she complained, he would say, "You're too insecure." "Don't you trust me?" Zion began adjusting herself so she wouldn't lose him. She was afraid of a breakup. The first time he pressured her for sex, she hesitated. She remembered the promises she made to herself. But she also didn't want to be labeled as the girl who was forming. "I thought you loved me," he said. She wanted to prove she did. Later, rumors reached her that Michael was cheating. Instead of walking away, she blamed herself. "Maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Maybe I'm not attractive enough." Then one day, she missed her period. The fear she felt was indescribable. She went to the hospital alone, her heart pounding. In that moment, becoming a doctor no longer mattered. Her future felt unstable. Even after discovering she wasn't pregnant, she had no peace. There was still a health scare. A test she prayed would come back negative. That was when she realized some things are not games. Sam's story. Sam's first sexual experience was not even that special, but his friends hyped him as if he had won the Champions League. "Guy, you're a man now!" That validation felt better than the act itself, so he chased it again and again. Different girls, different weekends, different stories. He told himself it was normal. All boys do it. Then pornography entered the picture. Late night scrolling, quick satisfaction, no emotional attachment, commitment. That was for marriage. But gradually, something changed. One girl was no longer enough. He couldn't stay alone without watching porn. He began to describe love as boring. He didn't notice when freedom turned into dependency. One morning, he felt discomfort while urinating. He ignored it. A few days later, it became worse. He went to the hospital secretly, trying to maintain his image. The diagnosis: gonorrhea. He collected his prescription quietly. He did not tell his friends. Fear humbled him, but habits are hard to break. Years later, when he tried to enter a serious relationship, he struggled. His mind had been wired differently. One girl felt too calm. Stability made him uncomfortable. He had practiced pleasure for years, but never discipline. Same ending, different roads. Zion nearly lost focus because she confused attention with love. Sam nearly lost direction because he confused conquest with manhood. Different lies, same damage. For girls, the pressure often sounds like, if he chooses you, you matter. For boys, it sounds like, if you can get many girls, you're a real man. But nobody talks enough about sexually transmitted infections that don't show on your face, anxiety after risky decisions, addiction that starts as harmless fun, dreams that slow down because priorities scatter. Sex rarely looks dangerous at the beginning. For Zion, it looked like love. For Sam, it looked like status. Neither of them started reckless. Neither of them started wicked. They were simply young, and no one properly explained the consequences. The lesson years later, Zion mentors young girls. She tells them, if he leaves because you say no, let him go. Love should not cost you your peace. Years later, Sam speaks to young boys. He tells them, self-control is not weakness. Manhood is not measured by body count. Because the truth is simple. Pleasure is loud. Peer pressure is louder. But consequences are patient. And they always collect. Protect your future more than you protect your image. Do not let society rush you into a story that will take years to recover from. Different pressures, different genders, but the same truth. If you do not guard your life, life will not guard you.